Interesting. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Um, to presence, right? Because we never left. Everything is a continuation. For there's no beginning, there's no end. It just is, as it always has been until you come into conscious, right? And be like, oh, has that always been there? Yeah, it has always been there, and then some. You just finally use your awareness to see it and accept it for what it is, isn't it? Speaking on that, the art of neutrality, the art of remaining neutral, the ability to just be, observe, give presence, give awareness to, and allow it to do exactly what it is doing already without attaching any meanings, upon it. Any negative, any positive, just nothing. You know what I'm saying? Exactly the essence of our true being, our true self, the pure awareness, like a baby, a newborn baby. It is just there, witnessing. You know, just there witnessing, giving awareness, giving presence, and then us, the onlooker, who has so much different programs and conditionings upon us, will look at the child and try to give it some sort of meaning as to what's happening or what it could be happening. And all this time, it's already telling you, right? But also, it just is. Everything is just is. In fact, there's a particular version of source that goes by the name of Master of Earth. Shout out to the bro. He's a profound being. His perspective are something that I can highly, highly respect and fully comprehend from where he's coming from and how he speaks and lay down the knowledge and wisdom onto us, Master of Earth. And he says that there's no cause of anything. He got so deep into his meditation and realized that the same realization that I came across of, I've kind of like known this for a while now, but to articulate it's here. You know what I'm saying? So that yeah, during deep meditation, you deep stillness, you realize that there is no cause of anything. It just is. Like looking at the oceans, right? And the waters and the waves, and the waves is doing what it does, moving back and forth with all type of rips and currents here and there. It comes up, it does what it does, and then it resides, isn't it? And it comes up again, it does what it does, and it resides. And there lies the pattern of this particular system in which we are embedded in, that is called Earth. For it is a system, patterns can be recognized, and then from there, we ought to just leave it alone. But, this is creation, and we like to apply our creativity as best as we can, right? And so we'll be like, oh, look, that water is doing this and that, so therefore it means that such and such is coming. I think we should warn the people what's about to come. And then consciousness starts to agree, and then the collective consciousness of consensus starts to come together and be like, you know what? We agree with this creation that you have laid out before us. So now let's give it energy, let's feed it, and now it manifests and it becomes as so. Hello. A moment of peace, a moment of awareness. As I'm staring at you, I also like to stare right back into her, or it. You see that even genders have these labels of which we give meaning to, but behind the genders, there's nothing. It just is, essentially, right? Or what we call consciousness, or energy, awareness, or God, whatever name that vibrates your soul. The names are highly, highly, highly irrelevant. For to name such a thing that is so infinite would be futile. You would drive yourself crazy. So therefore, we simplify it with these labels, because that's what these labels are: simplifications of what is infinite. And it's kind of really, really difficult to grasp the infinite until you start trying to grasp it. Like, stop trying to grasp the infinite and therefore just be inside of it, and you realize how it is. The moment you try to speak and explain it, you fall, essentially, right? So this goes back and comes down to a knowing. Like, it's just knowing and know it. And you live in that knowing and you proceed with that knowing. And with such a knowledge, such a profound knowledge, you can approach life in a way that is just more relaxed, more easy, more fulfilling, more peaceful, because awareness is exactly just that. It is just watching, non-attached, not providing meaning to anything. For life is indeed meaningless. But, of course, to the beholder, you can say and give it sparks if you want it. Although there is infinite sparks all around us, look at it. It is quite beautiful. It is wonderful. It is amazing. Yes. May I? Yeah. Yes. Beautiful. Such a being. We are such a being that is a genius, as I am a genius, right? And even the term genius still falls short to what this actually really is, because again, we only have visible access of the light spectrum that is what, 0.00035 or some shit like that. The number changes every single time. It don't quite matter. Just know that the limitation of the physical body is indeed limited and restricted from seeing all of it. Though other people have been able to gain more access to it due to the alignment of the body, right? For the nervous system that we use to interact with the world has a particular way of giving access towards things, you know? My nervous system is always calm. That's my superpower. I'm always able to remain calm in the heat of the moment. No moment at all, you know? Calm, cool, collective. I like to laugh as well, too. When things happen, my first response is to laugh at it because it is quite comical. Hey, get away from my strings that are attached to my bootstraps. Out of everything she wants to play with, she decides to come to my boots and try to yank on the string. I'm guessing it's something new. And, you know, curiosity kills the cat, a saying, a very popular saying, because when she gets curious, then us, the beholder, oftentimes don't like that particular curiosity that she's exhibiting, because it starts to mess with things that we have there that don't want to be messed with. And if we don't want it to be messed with, we ought to remove it from its awareness, simply, right? Easier said than done. But yes, the ability to remain neutral beyond what reality displays upon you is easier said than done. It requires a practice, a continuous practice, the practice of awareness, the practice of consciousness. For you are it, so therefore you don't really have to practice it. It's more of a realization. But of course, with English, I have to say it in a manner that, you know, makes sense. Makes sense. Using our senses to try to make of it to be correct or right, or how to use our compass, which is part of our senses, to make it exceptional and appetizing, you know, to the being or to the beholder that is hearing, right? These terms are often quite interesting if you take your time to analyze what's happening. I had a conversation with Mira, and she was like, yo, I have no idea what I want to do. She's working on this book cover. And she produced the book cover though, but she was like, I had no idea. And I was like, you're not caught what you just said. You essentially ceased thinking, right? You had no ideas whatsoever. And when that mind becomes quiet, something higher can then come through and take control or regain control and produce exactly what you need, because it always knows what you need at that moment in time, right? Because thought, the moment you start to think, you remove yourself from the now, from here, and you go somewhere that is not longer here anymore. So you use your imagination to go back into time. This is time traveling, isn't it? To think is time. thought is time, because the moment you start to interact with it, you essentially remove yourself from the here, the now, right? This is the ultimate absolute reality, is right now before me. What is before my awareness? This is how I know that I'm here, because my awareness is intact currently right now. I haven't shifted, right? But we're always shifting, of course. But nevertheless, the moment she saw, the moment she ceased thinking and had no idea, is when everything came forth and showed me what she produced. And I was like, yo, this is beautiful. This is magical. This is perfect. This is your initial goal. And oftentimes your initial goal is it, right? I'm a recording artist. I also mix and engineer different artists and people. And when I would have sessions with people, they would do their first take. And what I realized is oftentimes their first take is that take that they want to make for that particular track that they're making. But they don't believe it, so because they have this idea of perfection. You're already perfect. But they have an idea of a perfection, so therefore they're not really here to witness what they have produced right there at that moment. But I am, right? So what I do is set aside the first take and let them redo the 100 more takes, right? And then he'll ask me what I think. And then I'll play the first take, and they'll hear it, and they'll be like, damn, was that the one I just did? I would be like, bro, that's your first take. That was 2 hours ago. You did that first take 2 hours ago, bro. They're like, really? Yes, really. Like, nah, that can't be. And of course, I show them. They're like, damn, that was the first take? Yo, this is perfect. And I look at them and be like, I know. That's why I kept it. But because you have a particular idea in your head that doesn't permits you to remain here in the now to witness what you have created at that first moment of go with no thought, you wasn't unable to see it. Is it your fault? Nah, not at all. It is all a part of the experience, of course. It's already perfected, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it's quite interesting realization that I came across of during my recording career. And oftentimes, I would say like 99%. Yeah, 99%. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. But you know, due to the amount of my practicing, or more like realization, or being here, you know, being aware, enables me to realize the neutrality of life, that there isn't anything happening. It really is just is. And us as the creator gives it a negative charge or a positive charge. This is the best way that I can explain it with language. Neither is good, neither is bad, for they're all the same thing. Everything is one thing. It's the attempt to separate the one into many, right? Which is they call duality, which is also an idea. And then with that same idea, people come to a further realization and realize, oh wait, there's no duality. So then they give it a name and they call it non-duality. Great. You see what I'm saying? But the moment they realize and cease thinking, this is why meditation is so important. This is why meditation is key. Meditation, yoga, things that doesn't allow you to activate the brain faculties, right? It enables you to just be. Activities such as that, which is in anything, honestly, yeah. Even when I'm drawing and painting, I'm not even thinking. The painting is already done in my head. I'm simply translating what's in here and bringing it forth on a blank canvas, drawing, going about it, you know. It's quite interesting. The first stroke is always the best stroke, right? The first color is always the best color, you know. But of course, when we start to think, it can misconstrue things. But of course, I'm not saying don't think. You have the knower, you have the doer, you have the thinker. You want to be able to use all three of these simultaneously, because all three of these are one. But oftentimes we stay hanged up on the thinker. And when the thinker is overstimulated, the knower and the doer become suppressed, right? It's unfortunate. I like that explanation. Um, it's fire, for sure. So you want to think, but think in a way that it's aligned with the compass that you have. You know, it's ringing and it's sending you to a particular direction. Use your thinking in a way that it can pinpoint as a pointer, right? It's meant to point you to the direction and help you gather more evidence as to why that direction is the one. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm not saying put it aside. Of course not. There are infinite ways to do infinite things, you know? Just understand and comprehend that everything is still one and the illusion of the many, right? And so I sit in my neutrality to record, to provide a perspective, right? Because this is simply a perspective, whether you agree with it or not, irrelevant, right? This is just another version of self speaking to self, awareness speaking to awareness. We already know everything that there is to know. Um, yeah. So, you know, try to like give less meaning to things. Or if you do want to give it meaning, give it something that like respects yourself. You know what I'm saying? Respect your subconscious. Like it's an agreement. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's 111, 111. I'm seeing 111. That means it's a lucky day for me. All day is a lucky day for me. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's fire. That's fire, bro. So give it like a connotation that suits you, that helps you, opposed to something that doesn't, right? You are the creator. You can create any meaning that you want and charge it up with energy, emotion, conviction, right? Charge it up. And then suddenly it becomes a thing. And then you can pass it down to your family and make it a tradition, right? Because in my lineage, all should know who they are, right? Whether I use the term God, whether I use the term source, you know what I'm saying? Energy, awareness, consciousness, irrelevant. They would know the fundamental truth of who they are, which is simply just is, right? Of course, for the sake of language, I would say energy, I would say consciousness, or I would say God, because the collective consciousness seems to have these words that are like buzzing terms. And so when the lineage is out in the world, they will hear these terms and they will fully know what people are trying to say. I'll say you are Jesus, you are Buddha, you are Brahma, you know what I'm saying? You are Heru, you are Aset, right? You are that, to which people are externally praising. But through our lineage, through this house, you will know that it is you that they're talking about. You will learn how to internalize it, right? You will learn how to take that fire, you know, and feed yourself, feed the flame. Not relying on anything outside of you, but you yourself are the flame. And you are a self-sustaining flame, mighty and powerful, right? Yeah. And you will comprehend that the world is indeed a blank canvas, and you are the painter, yeah? You are the painter. Use your brush sticks, use your brush strokes, however you want. However, it helps to incline your being, your wellness of this beautiful creation to which we call Earth, this particular reality that we are here in now. Because we're shifting realities all the time, but that's a whole different discussion, isn't it? Yeah. I think that's about it. The message has been beautiful for self. And may self be able to eat off of it and multiply its fruits with it. Yeah? Yeah. War, peace, as fire. Yeah, yeah.